Hi everybody, Mark Benton from All Bowl Barbecue. Do you like pastrami? Like pastrami sandwiches? It's easy to do at home. Takes a little bit of time and preparation, but it's super easy. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make the marinade, brine a brisket. So we're doing a brisket flat today. Smoke it on the Traeger Timberline XL, and then rest it and slice it. It's easy as that. And you can make some very delicious dishes, such as this pastrami sandwich. Okay, let's make our pastrami marinade, our brine. So you need about a gallon of water. I'm using a little bit less on this batch because it's a small brisket. And to that, we're going to add 1¼ cups of brown sugar. We have 5 ounces of kosher salt. Now over here on the stove, I've been toasting coriander seeds, my cinnamon sticks, and some allspice. So we're going to go ahead and pour those in now that they're toasted. Now we also need, next is a 1/4 cup of the pink curing salt. That's what's going to give it that pink look, but also help cure it. Come on. About 5 teaspoons of mustard seed. I'm only using ground mustard today. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to stop there since it's the ground powder. I'm also going to add a tablespoon of minced garlic. Now normally this calls for 4 to 6 crushed cloves, but I'm just going to add this directly from the jar. A little bit of the juice. We need 1 teaspoon of red chili flakes. 6 whole bay leaves. They're kind of broken up, so. And 2½ teaspoons of juniper berries. And these need to be crushed. So what I'll do is add them to here. 1, 2, whoop. 2½. And then just by hand, go through and give them a quick crush. There we go. And then those go in. And that is the ingredients for our marinade. We're going to stir this together. Got all that sugar and salt on the bottom. And now take it over to the stove and let it boil. So let's do that. Okay, so while that's boiling, let me clean this up and we'll bring the brisket out and prepare it. Okay, we got a HEB 2½ pound brisket flat that I picked up a while back, and figured I ought to do something with it. It's a perfect candidate for pastrami. So we're going to go ahead and pull this out of here and see what we're dealing with. Get rid of that. Pat it dry. Ding, ding, ding. We'll pat it down to dry it off. That's got a good little fat cap back here. I may trim some of that down. And I'm not going to be too worried about cornering the edges. We may have some issues once I put it on the smoker. And if you look, this side's pretty thick as opposed to this is a little thinner. We'll just have to watch that in cooking. Let's see if I can trim some of this fat down. And a little bit of this piece here. Okay. Well, this is small enough piece of meat to where I'm not going to sacrifice any of it, so we're going to keep that little point there. Normally on a regular brisket I'd trim something like that off. Let's take a little bit of this off on the back end. There we go. Okay, that's all there is to it. We're not going to season it. We're not going to put anything on it. We're going to let this brine boil, cool down with some ice, and then we'll bag it in a Ziploc baggie. Okay, so it came to a boil, and we've stirred it throughout while it's on the stove. Make sure you keep stirring it. Just make sure everything's incorporated there. Now that it's out, you can put normally about 12 cups of water or 12 cups of ice. Now this batch is for a full-size brisket, which obviously I'm not doing. I should have scaled it back, but I didn't. I'm not going to need all of this for here, and I'm not going to put too much ice in there because I don't want to dilute it too much. So we'll put this in, let it cool down, and then we'll add it to a container and put the brisket inside. So we'll let this sit for a bit. I'll stir it and see how quickly we can get it to cool down. Okay, so our brine is cooled down, and I'm going to use a half pan to keep it in to marinate. So we're just going to take it and pour it in here. Make sure you get all the pieces at the bottom, all the good stuff that's in there. There we go. We're going to take our brisket, place it right in there, make sure it submerges. You may have to put a little plate or something on it to keep it down. In fact, I might do that. I'm going to use a little bowl here. There we go. Put the lid on it, refrigerate it. This should stay in the brine for anywhere from 5 to 10 days. One this small, and since I didn't put a lot of water and ice in there, that brine's pretty potent. I think this is going to be good for about, we'll keep it in there for 7 days, and next weekend we will smoke it. Okay, off to the fridge. So it's been 6 days, and the brisket has been marinating out in the fridge outside for all 6 days. I've flipped it a couple of times, and this is what it looks like. You see it shrunk a little bit. It's feeling definitely more hefty than it was, so it soaked up a lot of that. Now what I'm going to do is take it over to the sink and we're going to drain the marinade and rinse off the brisket. Now, there's a lot of salt on the outside of this. We don't want that much salt, so I'm just going to take a light stream here and rinse it off a little bit. Get some of that salt that's on the outside. That salt has penetrated the meat, so we're not going to add any additional salt before we put it on the smoker. So now we're going to wipe it down, pat it dry, make sure it's dry on the outside, get that water off. And this brisket didn't require a whole lot of trimming. Fat cap's not too bad. I could probably take a little bit of that off, but we're just going to keep it the way it is. Shouldn't take long to cook. Now that we have out of the marinade, pretty much wiped down. You could add some mustard as a binder. I normally don't use binders, but the only thing I'm going to put on here is cracked black pepper, and I'm going to put quite a lot on this one. We have some. There we go. Rub that in, flip it over. Get the top. And I'm going to put some on the board. Rub this in. Then do the sides with what's left on the board. There we go. That looks pretty good. Probably use a little bit more right there on the end. How's that side looking? Not too bad. Could always do with more. And one final twist. There we go. Now I'm going to let it sit here for a few minutes. I've got the Traeger Timberline pellet grill preheated to 225 outside. We're going to use super smoke mode. Cook this at 225 for a couple hours, let that smoke penetrate, and then we'll probably bump it up to about 275 to finish it off. This is just a flat. It shouldn't take that long. It's not going to be like a full brisket. So by this afternoon we should have a cooked brisket and we can rest it. Okay, let's put this pastrami on the Traeger. So I'm going to keep a pan under it to try to keep my Traeger a little cleaner than I normally do. Just going to lay it right up here on top, and we'll check back in a couple hours. Okay. So we let the pastrami rest overnight. I pulled it last night at about 200 degrees. I could have left it a little bit longer than maybe 205, but it was poke tender. It was ready to come off. So I wrapped it in tallow and rested it at 140 overnight. So let's see how it looks. That's a pretty bark. Looky there. Well, it gets soaked up most of that tallow I put in there on the overnight rest. So we'll lay it here. So it's feeling pretty soft there on top. Let's, I'm just going to do a cross cut on this. You're going to want to zoom in on this if you can. Just try to stay out of the main camera. But oh, look at that. Let's back up in the light here, we can see better. Yeah, that looks good. So it's got the right color for pastrami. Let's cut off another little piece here and try it real quick. Ooh. Okay. Mrs. Longbull, would you like to try a piece? Tastes like pastrami. That's pretty good, isn't it? Okay. So let's cut off a few pieces. We'll make a sandwich with it, and then I'm going to save some for a couple other recipes here in the future. But let me go ahead and get this cut up, and we'll come back and plate it up. Okay, let's make a sandwich. So my plan is I'm going to make like a Cat's Deli in New York, like a regular pastrami sandwich. It's in the Reuben. It's going to have some Reuben components, but we're not going to grill it. So I've got some rye bread here, and the first thing we want to do is take some. I'm going to use some coarse grain mustard. Now, this is H-E-B brand, which is pretty good. In fact, everything I have on this table right now did come from H-E-B. Get my briskets there. Got Tillamook Swiss cheese. I forgot the brand of the pickles, but I got those there as well. Big jar of them. So we're going to put the mustard. The mustard's got a pretty heavy taste to it, so I'm only going to put it on one side. Now we can line up our pastrami. So we'll take a few pieces. Be generous. Now, if whoever you're making this for is more, toward the lean focused, you could, obviously pull this part out. I'm not, so I'm going to leave it on there and put a few more pieces in. About half more. There we go. That's a chunky sandwich. And then next, I'm going to add some Swiss cheese. And then on my pastrami sandwiches, normally in a deli, I like them with coleslaw. But I don't have any today, so we're going to go ahead and use some sauerkraut. We'll take a little bit of that. Spread it on this side. There we go. And now we make our sandwich. Close it up. Now let's see how this cross looks. Oh, so big it's falling apart. There we go. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Okay. So on a pastrami sandwich, your best sides are some dill pickles on the side. So I got some chopped up here. And you can't beat good old Lay's potato chips. Oh, a good helping of those as well. So this is a healthy lunch anybody'd love. Takes a little work to get there, so marinate your brisket for at least a week. This was a 6-day marinade. Smoke it on a like I did on a Traeger pellet for about 6 hours. Let it rest overnight. You don't even need to let it rest, but I did because I didn't have time to finish last night. And then slice and enjoy. Okay, let's see how it tastes. See if I can pick this monstrosity up. Mm-hmm. I got to learn on YouTube to take smaller bites so it doesn't take me so long to chew it. Man, that's fantastic. So, my wife and I were just talking. The pastrami by itself, a little salty. Probably a little more than I thought it would be. But in this sandwich, you don't taste it. Sauerkraut, the mustard, all helps reduce that saltiness. That Swiss cheese comes through good. That's a fantastic sandwich. This is deli worthy. So let me try a little bit. With a pickle. Yeah, that's it. And potato chip. Yeah, that's fantastic. So, again, it took a little time to get here, but it wasn't anything that's very hard. Make up the marinade, put it aside in your fridge for a week, turn it every day or two if you can, smoke it for about 6 hours, and you got yourself a heck of a piece of meat here. So, if you try this recipe, please send me a picture. I'd love to see it. You can reach me here on YouTube or my Instagram channel, at Lone Bull Barbecue. But we'll see you on the next video. Till then, be sure and pepper up your backyard.